a period of about 10 years, Super Senator Sheldon Whitehouse from Rhode Island had been standing up in the Senate, virtually every week, to deliver speeches about climate change under the banner of Time to Wake Up. Around the end of January 2021, the Rhode Island Democrats said it was time to bring the near-weekly speeches to an end now that they have a president who supports climate action, and both chambers of Congress are controlled by Democrats, only to resurrect the graphic and the speeches about a year later, stating that
we just aren't making progress. Not by the only measurement that matters, greenhouse gas emissions.
A year or so further on, he is kicking it up a notch. On June 21, 2023, he led a Senate Budget Committee hearing, which was to scrutinize the oil and gas industry's link to so-called dark money put towards delaying climate action. The following are his opening remarks.
In previous hearings, we have addressed multiple, serious, systemic risks to our economy and to the federal budget caused by carbon pollution. Many of our first 13 hearings made up a series on the economic toll of a changing climate. Today, we explore the insidious role that secretive fossil fuel money has played in exposing us to those forecast economic and budgetary catastrophes. Decades of climate disinformation and obstruction kept the fossil fuel industry benefiting from its $600 billion plus annual subsidy. And it drove up climate-related costs to the federal budget and to the broader economy. The dangers that responsible experts have come to this committee to warn about are actually occurring. Sea levels are rising and wildfires are intensifying, as we saw with the smoke a couple of weeks ago. Insurers are fleeing high-risk coastal and wildfire areas as predicted. The fossil fuel industry's disinformation campaign has penetrated right into this committee room via witnesses from organizations like the Cato Institute, the Heritage Foundation, the American Enterprise Institute, and the Competitive Enterprise Institute, which through 2021 have collectively received over $500 million. $500 million from fossil fuel-related interests. And that's only the money that we know about. We're here today because fossil fuel-funded climate disinformation and obstruction is directly causing systemic financial risks to the economy and to the federal budget. Our witnesses will help us better understand how the fossil fuel industry has corrupted public and legislative understanding of climate change and poisoned our ability to head off these enumerated dangers. There is actually a scientific field of study examining this climate denial phenomenon. We will hear from a professor who has literally written the book on it, from a former PR executive turned documentary film producer who can speak directly to the tactics of disinformation, and from a Bush administration ethics lawyer who has firsthand experience with the effects of corporate money on governance. Fossil fuel disinformation is nothing new. The industry has been at it for decades. Beginning as early as the 1950s, industry scientists became aware of climate change, measuring and predicting it decades before it became a public issue. They knew their products were responsible for it. In 1977, Exxon senior scientist James Black told Exxon's management committee, and I quote, "There is general scientific agreement that the most likely manner in which mankind is influencing the global climate is through carbon dioxide release from the burning of fossil fuels." That's Exxon's senior scientist to Exxon's management. But industry management and CEOs spent decades promoting climate misinformation. By the late 1980s and 1990s, when the general public first became aware of the looming climate threat, Congress pursued bipartisan legislation that would have addressed climate change. The late Senator John McCain ran for president as a Republican on a strong climate platform. Big oil and gas responded with billions of dollars in fossil fuel-funded disinformation, lobbying, and election spending. I lived this I worked on bipartisan climate legislation from 2007 through 2009. Until in January 2010, the Citizens United decision set loose unlimited political spending by the fossil fuel industry. Worse, the decision allowed that spending to be anonymous. The fossil fuel industry was ready, not only with unlimited dark money, but also with the secret threats and promises that unlimited dark money permits. And it immediately snuffed out bipartisanship on serious climate legislation. It's been a big operation. Collectively, fossil fuel-aligned trade organizations and dark money groups have spent tens of billions of dollars, again, just that we know of, on ads, lobbying, campaign contributions, and dark money front groups. The delay in action that those billions bought directly caused the economic perils that our hearings have spotlighted. Fossil fuel spending has done direct damage to our nation's fiscal future, not just to our environment. Lawsuits abound against major oil and gas corporations for deceiving the public about the climate damages that they knew their products would cause. The House Oversight Committee started its own investigation into fossil fuel deception, an investigation I intend to see through, to hold accountable the players in industries spreading the disinformation that will rock the very foundations of our economic well-being. We will pay a terrible economic and human price if the campaign is not exposed and disabled.
That's it for another week. Holy El Nino, it's getting hot out there, so stay hydrated. Unless you're in Texas, then you might be SOL. Cheers.